The conflict between Sunnis and Shias has actually been going on since Prophet Muhammad's death, which was a very long time ago, and that has caused many problems for all the Muslim people all around the world, all throughout the centuries. Today, I want to tell you the 9 most important differences between Sunnis and Shias so that hopefully you can understand them better. The origins. When Muhammad died in 632, a debate started about who should be his successor. Some believed it should be determined by the people, and others thought it should be someone from Muhammad's family. The former believed Abu Bakr, Muhammad's close friend, should be the successor, and that group of people became the Sunnis. The latter believed that Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law Ali should take over, and those supporters became the Shias. Abu Bakr became the first caliph after Muhammad's death, and Ali was the fourth, but Shias recognize Ali as the first true caliph. And that's pretty much it. This is what caused this huge divide in one of the world's largest religions. Most Muslims are Sunni. The vast majority of people who practice Islam are Sunni. While it's difficult to get an exact number, it's estimated that 87 to 90% of all Muslims in the world are Sunni, while just 10 to 13% are Shia. The biggest countries where Shia are the majority are Iran and Iraq, but there are also sizable communities in Pakistan and India as well. Sunnis and Shias both face discrimination in any country where their branch of Islam is not the majority. They celebrate different holidays. All Muslims celebrate the major Islamic holidays like Ramadan, Eid, and Ashura, but they don't share all the same holidays. Shias, for example, dedicate the 9th and 10th days of the month of Muharram to mourning the death of Hussein. Hussein was the son and successor to Ali, and in the year of 680, he and many in his family were massacred in Iraq, and his death made him a martyr to the Shias. Sunnis, of course, also recognize this event, but to them it's more a day of remembrance rather than mourning. There are different pilgrimages. Every Muslim must make the pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in his or her life if he or she is financially and physically capable. That doesn't change for Sunnis and Shias. However, Shias have their own additional pilgrimage called Arba'in, which happens at the end of Ashura. Every year, millions make their way to Karbala in Iraq to the tomb of Hussein in order to pay their respects to the Imam. It's one of the largest annual pilgrimages in the world, and in 2016, around 25 million people participated. The missing Messiah. Another thing that sets the Shias apart from the Sunnis is their belief in the missing Messiah. They believe that after Muhammad came the 12 Imams or Islamic leaders, which included Ali. The 12 Imams were in a line of succession, but it stopped at 12 because it's believed that the 12th Imam, who was only a boy, went missing back in the 9th century after his father was murdered. Most Shias believe that he will come back as the Mahdi or Messiah with Jesus when Judgment Day arrives. The self-flagellation debate. Shias place a lot of value in martyrdom and sacrifice, and they actively practice self-flagellation to commemorate Hussein's martyrdom. The self-flagellation includes flogging one's own back or hitting one's own chest with their hands, chains, or even knives. Sunnis deeply disagree with this and do not practice it themselves. Sunnis see it as a sin, while Shias see it as a symbolic gesture that they would have laid down their lives to save Imam Hussein. When I was traveling around Iran, I was really lucky because I got to be there during the morning of Muharram, and I actually saw thousands of people, doing things like this to themselves and beating their chest and stuff, all in procession, all, on the streets and stuff. But obviously they weren't doing it really hard, they weren't hurting themselves. It was more, a way for them to remember what happened and mourn what happened. They pray differently. Both Sunnis and Shias pray 5 times a day, as doing so is part of the 5 pillars of Islam. However, while Sunnis do their prayers 5 separate times throughout the day, Shias condense it down to 3 times a day, but will do multiple prayers in 1 or 2 of the sessions. They also pray differently physically as well. Sunnis pray with their arms crossed over their chests, while Shias keep their arms at the sides. One thing to note here is that most of the Sunni people that I personally know, they also every once in a while combine their prayer times, especially if they're on some sort of a trip or there's some sort of an emergency, and they can't do it 5 times that day. So this doesn't really apply to all, people practicing Islam. Still goes as some sort of a general rule. Imams have different roles. The precedent for this was set from the moment Muhammad died. Shias believe that the Islamic leaders or imams are divinely appointed by God and are the only ones who can legitimately interpret the Quran, which is seen as the word of God. Sunnis, on the other hand, must put in the work and prove their faith in order to be given the title of imam. Temporary marriages. Temporary marriages are an ancient Islamic practice where a man and a woman are only married for a previously agreed upon amount of time, and once that time is up, then the marriage is over without the need for a divorce. It was mandated by Muhammad himself, and Shias believe it was never forbidden by the Prophet later on, so temporary marriages are still allowed among Shia Muslims. Sunnis, however, believe that Muhammad did in fact later forbid it, so they do not allow it and instead see it as a form of adultery. Even though these differences might not be, very big to an outsider, but to Muslims themselves, they're quite major. Even though all the Muslim people you'll ever meet will simply tell you that, they're Muslim and not go too deep into those details. But I'm really happy that you will know these differences right now and will be able to understand your Muslim brothers and sisters better. What do you think about these differences? Is there anything that I missed that you think I should include? Let me know in the comment section down below. Can't wait to learn more.